Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. I'm your host, Gotmark76. We have 3 exciting title matches for you this evening, headlined by WWF World Champion Hulk Hogan, defending his title against Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. The cards are stacked against the champion, because in this match, if Hulk Hogan gets counted out or disqualified, Mr. Wonderful will win the WWF Championship. The Macho Man Randy Savage, with his manager the beautiful Miss Elizabeth, will defend his Intercontinental Championship against the one-man gang with his manager Slick. Chaos will rule the ring, as the Hart Foundation will defend their WWF World Tag Team Championship against Bobby Heenan family members Andre the Giant and King Kong Bundy in a Texas Tornado match, where all 4 men will compete in the ring at the same time. All this action can mean only one thing: it's time for the main event. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off tonight's big main event live on NBC with the WWF World Championship. With a 1-hour time limit, it will be Hulk Hogan defending his title against Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Now, if Hulk Hogan gets disqualified or counted out, Mr. Wonderful will win the World Heavyweight Championship. This match has been brewing for the last several weeks. It all started when Mr. Wonderful challenged Hulk Hogan while Hulk Hogan was away doing an international tour overseas. Hulk Hogan could not defend his championship as he was doing that tour, and Mr. Wonderful took it upon himself to pile drive several opponents on the concrete floor. Well, he got the attention of Hulk Hogan by pile driving him on the concrete floor this past week in Boston at the Boston Garden. So Hulk Hogan coming to this match with a little bit of an injury, but Mr. Wonderful looks to exploit that as he makes his way to the ring right now, being managed by Bobby the Brain Heenan. And this could be a very big night for Bobby Heenan. Not only could he be managing the new World Heavyweight Champion, but he may manage Tag Team Champions. Now, the original match for later on this evening, if time permits, was Andre the Giant and King Kong Bundy to challenge the Hart Foundation. Now we are being told that there might be a change to that match. Well, the World Heavyweight Championship made his way to the ring, and fans, we're about to get this match started. The introductions are being made, and you can cut the tension with a knife. It is time for the main event. And Mr. Wonderful with the running drop kick to start off. And Hogan is down. And an elbow by the Hulkster. Picks up Mr. Wonderful, and he blocks it. And a shoulder block by Mr. Wonderful takes Hogan down. Hogan again last week in Boston pile drove on the well, we can't say concrete, the hardwood floor of the Boston Garden. So he's definitely coming into this match with a disadvantage. Looking good so far and holding his own against the #1 contender, Mr. Wonderful, with a suplex of his own. And Bobby Heenan looks on in the background. Mr. Wonderful blocks that suplex and the drop kick of his own. And in the early going in this matchup, it has been a back and forth battle, as these 2 wrestlers all over the country have been going back and forth. Every match between these 2 has come down to the wire. Some have ended in countouts and disqualifications. Other times, Hulk Hogan was able to successfully pin Mr. Wonderful. But Mr. Wonderful went to President Jack Tunney because there were several victories in which he won by countout or disqualification, where Hulk Hogan let his anger get the best of him and used a steel chair on Mr. Wonderful. So Paul Orndorff and manager Bobby Heenan went to President Jack Tunney and said, hey, we want a title match where the title can change hands on a countout or a disqualification. And that definitely puts the champion at a disadvantage. And Mr. Wonderful letting him count. It's up to 6. And Hulk Hogan runs back in. And Mr. Wonderful would have taken the count of victory there. And going for the pinfall. Maybe it's easier to get 3 than it is 10. And you only got a 1. And another double axe handle. And Orndorff stomping away. Another beautiful drop kick. And kicking away at Hulk Hogan. And a knee to the back of the head, rubbing his face into the mat. And Hulk's in trouble. Mr. Wonderful walloping away on the Hulkster, not letting Hulk get back to his feet. And Hogan's in trouble against the turnbuckle. And Mr. Wonderful snake eyes across the top turnbuckle. Goes for the cover. This could be it. And a kick out at 1. The Hulkster will not go that easily. And a reversal. And a stalemate. A big right hand by the Hulkster. Another right hand by the Hulkster. And a clothesline takes Mr. Wonderful down. And Hulk Hogan showboating to the fans. I'm not sure why he's not going for the cover there. And Mr. Wonderful with a kick to the midsection. And he's going for the pile driver. If he nails it, it could be over, and he hits it. Mr. Wonderful going for the cover. Could this be it? 1, 2, and he kicks out. Hulk Hogan kicked out. That pile driver maneuver took Hogan down, and Hogan was able to kick out. And the backbreaker, Mr. Wonderful staying on top of Hulk Hogan. Very wise decision. He can feel that world championship in his grasp. Big clothesline takes Hogan down. And he's going to go for the cover. Is this it? And a 2 again, and Hogan kicks out. And Mr. Wonderful's beside himself, doesn't know what to do next. So he's going to keep stomping away at Hulkster. And he whips him in. Big elbow off the rebound. Going for the cover. 1, 2. Oh, and Hogan barely escapes. He can feel that championship slipping away. And Mr. Wonderful gorilla press slam down, and Hogan goes down. And Mr. Wonderful signaling again for a pile driver. He's telling Hogan what he's going to do to him, rubbing it in his face a little bit here, and punching away at the midsection, the left and the right. Blocked by Hogan, and a comeback. And takes Mr. Wonderful down. Working the arm now of Mr. Wonderful. And Hogan again showboating to the fans. And Mr. Wonderful, what's he do? He's grabbing a chair. Now he can get disqualified and Hogan will retain. Not sure I understand that method there. And Hogan follows him out to the floor, rake of the eyes, and then kick to the midsection. Now Hogan working the arm of Mr. Wonderful. And the count is up to 3. This could have been a ploy by Mr. Wonderful to get Hogan outside of the ring. And Mr. Wonderful with a flurry of fists. But Hogan coming back on his own, working that arm again over the shoulder and rakes it down. And the referees count up to 7, throws Mr. Wonderful back in. And Mr. Wonderful almost got one there. Oh, but Heenan distracting Hogan. And Mr. Wonderful from behind. He has a handful of tights. 1, 2, and oh, he kicked out. Hulk Hogan kicked out at the very last second. Trying to steal the world championship from the Hulkster. Bobby Heenan doing his job at ringside. Distracting the world heavyweight champion, and a backdrop by Mr. Wonderful. And going for the cover. And Hogan was too close to the ropes. I can't believe that Bobby Heenan almost aided Mr. Wonderful that way by distracting Hulkster. And Mr. Wonderful throws Hogan out of the ring. And again, may be searching for that count-out victory. And Mr. Wonderful has Hogan here. Oh, no. He's going for a pile driver on the concrete floor. He nails it. Now, he can either pick him up and roll him into the ring and pin him for a 3 count, or let the referee count to 10, and it looks like he's going to pick him up and throw him back into the ring. And Hogan somehow misses the big leg, and he's rolling back in, and Mr. Wonderful's attacking him. I can't believe Hogan got up that easily from a pile driver on the concrete floor, and a backdrop on Mr. Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful heading outside, going back to the dressing room, and Hogan's going to follow him. I think he's on the Mr. Wonderful's idea of getting counted out. And Mr. Wonderful again going for a pile driver. And he nails it. That is the second pile driver on the concrete floor, the third pile driver of the match. And this is on top of a pile driver last week in Boston that had Hogan coming into this match already weakened. And he's signaling again for a pile driver. And the referees count up to 7. And Hogan sneaks back in. And Mr. Wonderful takes a big clothesline. I don't know how Hogan's continuing here, but he is. And he's sitting on Mr. Wonderful for the leg drop. And he drops the leg. And then, wait, Heenan's on the apron. Hogan has him pinned. And that's the second time this match Bobby Heenan has stopped the referee from making a pin count. Hogan had him. And Mr. Wonderful shoulder block. Goes for the cover. His feet on the ropes. He's going to steal a victory. 1, 2. And Hogan kicked out. And Wonderful with punches and kicks takes him down with a clothesline. And Mr. Wonderful setting him up again. This is the 4th pile driver. And Hogan's down. And that has to be it. That's 4 pile drivers. Going for the cover. We have a new champion. 2. And he kicks out. I think that's instinct by Hogan. I think he's just so used to kicking out. Orndorff going for the cover again. 1, 2, and 3. That is it. Mr. Wonderful has won the World Heavyweight Championship by pinning Hulk Hogan. We have replays here of earlier in the contest. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm shocked that Mr. Wonderful has won the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm beside myself. And with all the opportunities to cheat and deceive the referee, Mr. Wonderful took care of business, and I can't believe it. He has won the World Heavyweight Championship. And wait, he throws the title down. What kind of disrespect is that? Mr. Wonderful going to the outside. And he's grabbing a chair. Oh no, can't you just win the title and be gracious? Hammering Hogan with a chair, and a second time. And Mr. Wonderful looking to take out Hogan. Big clothesline. I don't believe it. Mr. Wonderful wins the championship. He's a sore winner, if you ask me. Throwing Hogan out to the floor, and I can only imagine what he's going to do again. Is he going to set him up for the fifth pile driver, the 4th on the concrete floor? And he nails him again. Mr. Wonderful taking out Hulk Hogan. He has won the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't believe it, fans. We are going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back after these words. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And it appears that the Heenan family members who will be taking on the Hart Foundation will be the Islanders of Haku and Tama. And I am still in shock at what we just witnessed. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff has defeated Hulk Hogan for the World Heavyweight Championship, and I would imagine that Bobby Heenan will not be at ringside, as he is most likely celebrating with the new World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Now, this match for the Tag Team Championship is a Tornado Tag Rules match. That means all 4 men will be in the ring at the same time, so chaos is sure to follow. Now, as we all know, we've been making notes of it all weekend here on WWF programming. Jim the Anvil Neidhart was a victim of the new world champion with a pile driver on the concrete floor last week on Primetime Wrestling. And we are curious to see if that maneuver has any effect on this tag team title match. But making their way to the ring right now are the challengers, Haku and Tama, the Islanders. And again, Bobby the Brain Heenan is not at ringside. He most likely is in the back celebrating with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Now, we'll need to look into why Andre the Giant and King Kong Bundy are not challenging for the Tag Team Championship tonight. I wish I had that story for you. We do not have that information at this time. But I'm sure that Bobby the Brain Heenan knows what he's doing. After all, he just managed his way to the World Heavyweight Championship. And if all goes right in this match, he'll be managing the World Tag Team Champions too. And making their way to the ringside now is the Hart Foundation, the World Tag Team Champions. And the Hart Foundation haven't been champions for too long. They won those titles last month by defeating Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik. But tag teams are lining up left and right for a crack at the champions. And Bobby Heenan had the rights to that match. And apparently, Andre and King Kong Bundy were not signed on the dotted line, but an open spot for the Heenan family. So Bobby Heenan making a last-minute decision here to insert the Islanders into this tag team match. And fans, if you're just tuning in, we have a new World Heavyweight Champion. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff defeated Hulk Hogan with concrete floor pile driver after concrete floor pile driver. 5 pile drivers total. Hulk Hogan was carried out on a stretcher, as after Mr. Wonderful had won the match, not only did he win the championship, but then he added insult to injury by pile driving Hogan on the concrete floor. And the action in this match will be very hard to call. I will do my best, as all 4 are in the ring. We have Haku working over Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and Bret the Hitman Hart working over Tama in the upper right-hand corner. And again, keep your eye on Jim Neidhart, as Mr. Wonderful pile drove him on the concrete floor just last week on Primetime. And Bret Hart following Tama out to the ring, out on the floor, and a Russian leg sweep by Tama. And that has to hurt the back and the neck of Bret the Hitman Hart. And Haku has Jim the Anvil and whips him into the turnbuckles. And a stalemate. Those are 2 big guys right there. Lots of beef in the ring. And another stalemate. And Jim the Anvil has Haku and drapes him over the top rope. Meanwhile, Bret Hart brings Tama back in the ring, stumping away. And going up to that second turnbuckle. And hits him with a flying axe handle. And the Hitman in control. And the belly to back by the Anvil on Haku. And the Hart Foundation look like they're in control here in the early going of this matchup. And a big left hand by the Anvil. And Haku is shaken. Meanwhile, on the outside floor, Tama has the Hitman again. And the Anvil rams Haku in a big power slam in the middle of the ring. And Haku rolls to the outside. And the Anvil follows them, and all four members are outside of the ring at this time. And as I say that, Tama throws in Bret Hart, and he's going for the cover. And Haku has the Anvil and a pile driver on the floor. And the drop kick to the back. Again, keep your eye on the Anvil. And Haku dropping an elbow on the Anvil outside. Bret Hart going for the cover in the ring. Has Tama down. And a kick out at 1. And Jim the Anvil is shaken up. Haku had the inside cradle on Bret Hart. That was broken up by the Anvil. And Jim Neidhart with a pile driver on the concrete floor. That's Bobby Heenan for you. Bobby Heenan definitely told the Islanders to work that neck of the Anvil. And a dropkick again to the back. And Bret Hart has going for a power bomb and reversed by Tama. Going for the cover. And a kick out at 1. And Haku with a big axe handle on Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And a belly-to-belly suplex. He's going for the cover, and Tama backdropped Bret Hart, breaking up the cover unintentionally. Going for the cover on the Hitman, only got a 2 count there. And Haku, rams Anvil's head into the turnbuckle. And a snapmare down into the knee. Anvil fighting back with a backdrop. And Tama kicking away at the Hitman. And Haku snapped over the Anvil. Tama and Bret Hart go out to the outside. Haku with a super kick to the Anvil, and that should be it. Unable to go for the cover. Haku has the Hitman. Sets him up for a pile driver. And Tama goes for the cover on the Anvil. 1, 2, and 3. And we have new tag team champions. And it was Jim the Anvil Neidhart who got pinned after a vicious super kick. And his neck all throughout this match was going in many different directions. He was pile driven on the concrete floor by Haku. Here's that belly to belly. And Haku gets a pinfall. I'm sorry, Tama got the pinfall after Haku hit the kick. Here it is. Right in the... Oh, my God. He squared him away and hit him. Well, Bobby Heenan is having a great night, even though he's not at ringside. His men, the Islanders, are the new World Tag Team Champions. And now Bobby Heenan is the manager of champions. And the Islanders are standing tall with the World Tag Team Championship. The Hart Foundation put up a great fight, but your winners and new World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, Haku and Tama, the Islanders. And ladies and gentlemen, TV time remaining. The final contest of the evening will be the Macho Man, Randy Savage, defending his Intercontinental Championship against the one-man gang. And so far, in 2 title matches, we have 2 new champions. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff shocked the world by defeating Hulk Hogan in our opening contest. And then the Islanders just dethroned the Hart Foundation for the World Tag Team titles. Will the one-man gang have similar luck in this contest? Well, he's making his way to the ring right now with his manager, Slick. And if I'm a betting man, I like his chances. I mean, 2 for 2 so far in title matches on this special main event program on NBC. And 2 new champions crowned. But there's one person who may have something to say about that, and he's making his way to the ring right now, being led by his beautiful manager, Miss Elizabeth, and that would be the Intercontinental Champion, the Macho Man, Randy Savage, who each and every week has taken on all comers here in the World Wrestling Federation, finds himself in a very tough matchup here against the one-man gang. But in recent weeks, the Macho Man has successfully defended his Intercontinental Championship against Tito Santana, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Ted DiBiase, Jake the Snake Roberts, and he's looking to take care of one-man gang tonight. And fans, I want to thank you all for tuning in to this wonderful program. The main event, 3 title matches on primetime television, does not get any better than this. And the announcements are being made at this time. And we are set to go. And one-man gang kicking away to Macho Man. Macho Man blocks it and drops an elbow. And one-man gang picks up Macho for a slam. And Macho turns it into a Russian leg sweep. One-man gang rolls out of the ring. Macho Man follows him and knocks Macho Man down to the ground, stomping away on the Macho Man. And a Samoan drop by the one-man gang. And a suplex to the floor. Then Macho Man's in trouble. One-man gang rolls back in the ring, but he can't win the title on the countout. And Macho Man follows back in a big body splash, knocks Macho Man back out to the floor. And one-man gang whips Macho Man outside of the ring again. And one-man gang having his way with the Macho Man in this contest thus far. And he's following the Macho Man out to the floor, and the Macho Man catches him in a big elbow. Kick to the midsection, another kick. A right hand and a kick. And Randy Savage throws one-man gang into the ring. Macho Man having the better on the outside, and as I say that, one-man gang throws Macho Man out into the apron, and the referee's count is up to 5. And again, the one-man gang cannot win this contest or the championship. He cannot win the championship via countout. And one-man gang going for the cover. Could we have a new champion? 3 for 3 tonight, and only gets a 1 count. And Slick shouting instructions to the one-man gang. An inverted atomic drop by the Macho Man takes one-man gang down, who rolls his way outside the ring. And he's heading back to the dressing room. That's crazy. You can't win the championship like this. He may have been goading Macho Man out. And he was. A big clothesline takes Randy Savage down. And one-man gang gets back in the ring. Oh, he's going underneath the ring. He pulls out a sledgehammer. What's he looking to do here? And Macho Man kicks the sledgehammer out of one-man gang's hands. Picks him up, inverted atomic drop again. The referee's counts up to 5. And Slick yelling at one-man gang to get back in the ring, and he does so with the aid of the Macho Man, who's going to go for the cover. The referee out of position and kicks out into 1. And a big elbow to the top of the head. Macho Man going up to that second turnbuckle. Misses the elbow drop. And one-man gang with a full Nelson, but the Macho Man fighting his way out of it, and he reverses it. And a bulldog by the Macho Man. Miss Elizabeth cheering on. Cheering her man on in the bottom right-hand corner. And a flurry of elbows. And the one-man gang's in trouble. And a submission maneuver by the Macho Man. Is one-man gang going to tap? He's fighting it. Everything he has. And he is able to. He punches. And again in the midsection of the Macho Man. gets out of that maneuver. And a takedown by the Macho Man. Rolls out of the ring. Does a big boss. The one-man gang. His partner is, of course, the Big Boss Man. That one-man gang again looks like he's going to leave. But a knee to the back of the... And Macho Man sneaks back in. And one-man gang says, not so fast. Pulls him back out. And Slick again shouting instruction to one-man gang, telling him he can't win this match on the outside. But that is where one-man gang is most successful. And keep your eye on Slick, making his way over to the Macho Man. And he gets back in the ring. And an uppercut by the one-man gang. He's going to pick up the Macho Man and maybe drape him. He does. Drapes him against that top rope. Right in the midsection. Goes for the cover. Can we have a new Intercontinental Champion? No. Kick out at 1. And one-man gang staying on top of the Macho Man. And a kick to the midsection. And Randy Savage fights back with a right hand. Another right blocked. And a right by the one-man gang into the ropes. And a big elbow. And Macho Man going for the pile driver. Could he be setting off for the elbow drop? He nails the pile driver. That's usually the precursor. And Slick is up on the apron, distracting the referee. Macho Man's going up to the top. He's going to fly. He nails the elbow, and that could be it. That should be it. He goes for the cover. 1, 2, and wait a second. Slick just pulled the referee out of the ring. You gotta be kidding me. That's a disqualification, ref. Slick is getting thrown out of the ringside, it looks like. And the referee said that's enough. Slick is getting thrown out of ringside for pulling the referee away when Macho Man had the cover. And Macho Man staying on top of the one-man gang. Kicking away. I don't believe it. Macho Man had that match won. Could this be the opening that the one-man gang needs? And a big splash in the corner takes Macho Man down. And we're going to have a new Intercontinental Champion. Goes for the cover. 1. And the kick out at 1. Fans, Slick saved the one-man gang from being pinned after that elbow drop. And things are not looking good. And one-man gang misses with a drop kick. Does not miss with a clothesline. Takes Macho Man down. And now one-man gang having words with Elizabeth. What's he going to do talking to her like that? Come on. And Randy Savage rolls back in. And one-man gang going for the cover after a stomp to the head. And a kick out at 1. Fans, I cannot believe that Slick got ejected for saving the one-man gang. And ever since then, one-man gang has been controlling most of this matchup. And a big drop down. Takes Macho Man down. Goes for the cover. 1. And a kick out at 1 again. He took Macho Man down with a big body splash off the ropes. Yeah, Macho Man whips him into the turnbuckles. Face first goes one-man gang. And he's sending up the one-man gang who elbows him. Is he going to go for the axe handle? And he does. He nails Macho Man. We could have a new Intercontinental Champion. 1, 2, and a kick out at 2 by the Macho Man. And the one-man gang has the Macho Man up and going for a big choke slam. He has him up, and what goes up must come down. And that could be it. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, no. And the one-man gang doesn't know what to do next. Maybe if his manager didn't get kicked out of ringside, he would know. Goes for the cover again, only gets a 2. At this moment of the match, that was the saving grace as one-man gang was surely to get pinned by the Macho Man. Slick pulled the referee out to the ring but got ejected, ejected, sent to the dressing room for his efforts. And Macho Man go for a pile driver again and nails the big guy with a pile driver. So thus far, the turning point has been the ejection of Slick, but he saved the one-man gang by pulling the referee out of the ring. And I'll tell you, the one-man gang is looking to make it 3 for 3 tonight in title matches on the main event. He whips the Macho Man in. And it looks like he's setting up for that big splash, and he is. And he nails it. If he goes for the cover, we could have a new champion. He's not going for the cover. Macho Man, Russian leg sweep, nails it. I don't know why the one-man gang did not go for the cover there. Macho Man going up to the top. Could it be the elbow drop? Oh. One-man gang is moving. If it's a double axe handle, that's just as vicious. And that's another finishing maneuver. Goes for it. Double axe handle, and that should be it. Macho Man goes for the cover. It's a 1, 2, 3. And the Macho Man successfully retains the Intercontinental Championship against the one-man gang. And there's the elbow drop that he made mid-match. When he goes for the cover, watch this. Watch the referee. Gets the 1, gets the 2. Watch Slick. Pulls the referee out of the ring. Macho Man had that match won then. And then after that, it was all one-man gang. I thought we were going to have a new Intercontinental Champion. But Macho Man persevered, kept kicking out of maneuvers. And the Macho Man is still the Intercontinental Champion. Wrestling fans, it's been a wonderful night of action. We have a new World Heavyweight Champion in Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. We have new Tag Team Champions in the Islanders of Haku and Tama. Macho Man Randy Savage has successfully defended his Intercontinental Championship. And folks,